All right, we're live.
Yes.
We're doing it, dude.
Live and in color.
My old pal from like fucking 2005.
I met you in 2003, Playboy.
Oh, that's right.
That's when we did the Cosmo thing.
I thought it was 2005.
Nope, 2003.
Are you sure?
Yep.
God damn, dude.
50 most eligible bachelors
Yeah.
in America as voted by Cosmopolitan
Paul,
magazine.
wait, how did you get into that?
Dude, dumb luck. My buddy was going to do it. And so my buddy did it the year before from Kansas. Wanted his other buddy to do it. And then when it came time to shoot it, his girlfriend didn't want him to be viewed as a bachelor, so she put the kibosh on it. So I like got it by default.
So you did it really? So you wait, what? Really? That's hilarious. Are they
Like,
still together?
Unfortunately, he passed away a couple years ago.
Oh, great! I walked.
Tragic.
Way to start
Really-
off.
really- yeah,
Fucking
sorry.
my bad. I always start off with a real high note. Yeah, it's so funny because when we did that, it was just me and you basically just taking over the whole thing.
It was awesome.
That was a good time.
Wait, how did you get it then?
My dad's secretary got me into it, and she goes, "By the way, you're going to be doing Cosmo," and I was like, "What?" And I've been doing modeling for a hot minute, and I was like, "All right, sure," but it actually turned out to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And we
man.
did that morning show thing. We had
Yeah.
what was your talent thing you had to
I
do?
don't know. I somehow I did develop a crush on Diane Sawyer though after that day.
Was it Diane Sawyer?
Yeah,
God damn, that was so long ago, bro.
a lifetime ago, literally.
And you're still in the modeling game still, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm still out there grinding. I'm as busy as I've ever been.
Yeah.
Actually, for some reason they in vogue. The salt and pepper must be in vogue.
I love it. So you just embrace the salt and pepper. You're like, fuck it, it's coming in, and let's do it. When did you start turning really gray? Because I know for a hot minute we didn't like see you for a long time.
Yeah, I would say probably like steadily more gray, 32, 33.
Yeah.
Which is kind of early.
Yeah, it is early.
And so I hit a gnarly dry spell in my career where, because I'm like you, I've got tattoos everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
like, are you the young dad? Are you the hip guy? Are you the whatever? And
Yeah.
so casting had a tough time figuring out what I was, and so did my agency. So it was like crickets forever. And then now that I guess my face is catching up with my hair, it's starting to
It's all starting to turn gray.
come back around.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
every other hair on my body's gray right now, bro. So
You
it's
don't
like,
have
it's
any
like-
hair in your body. Me, I'm fucking Armenian. I gotta shave everything, dude. My girl's gotta fucking shave my back. It's the worst. I look like a goddamn squirrel.
I just got one of those lawnmowers for Christmas. Have you seen
oh yeah?
those? Yeah.
You don't get hair in your back, do you?
Well, I mean, it.
See, as you get older, it
use
starts
it
to creep
everywhere.
on you,
You
yeah.
use it everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
got that blade that doesn't nick you and all the spots you don't want to be nicked.
It
so.
sucks too. Even when you're trying to nick your fucking balls and stuff. You've seen that lawnmower thing? They got the lawnmower.
That's
what
what
she
I'm
got
talking
you.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it actually work?
Absolutely.
It does work.
Big time.
See, I trimmed up the other day. I
Did you
nicked
get
my-
one? Do you have?
No, I have two Norelcos, so one for my nuts and one for my fucking body. And sometimes I get it mixed up, so I got to put tape on one of them. So I don't.
I was when I got that when I unwrapped my gift, my best buddy of forever years. we lived together and we used to share one of those Norelcos that you speak
no.
of. And so I'm in the bathroom, trimming my beard up, and he walks by and he's like, I shave my nuts. And I'm like, yep, so do I.
You're like, it's all in the family, dude. We're best friends, bud. That's
We're
the
blood.
worst.
We're blood brothers.
What is the
Whisker brothers?
What is the worst? What was the first worst audition you ever had?
Oh my gosh.
Because I love asking this because I know you're still in the acting game too, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
More on the commercial stuff. My theatrical career has kind of hit a standstill
That's
for
all right.
for better or worse.
It always comes back around.
Yeah, I shot an episode of Grey's Anatomy last year, which was like just an under 5 thing. But
Isn't it crazy that that's still there? And like it's been there for like 12 years now.
I think longer than that. When I was on set, the sound guy was like, "We've thought this show was dead so many times. We
Yeah.
thought it was dead when McDreamy left, when McSteamy left,
Yeah.
when Sandra Oh left, and
Yeah.
they're like, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I think it's like 15 years,
That's
like The Simpsons.
It's coming back after it means still not having a career. Fucking sucks. Everything's coming back, and I'm like, I remember auditioning for this. Like, I remember auditioning for 90210 again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this anymore. I had a soap opera audition not too long ago, and I called my agent. I go, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this anymore, dude.
Well, here's the thing about that that's
a pain in
cool.
the ass.
Like, and you read books about how no is a very powerful word, right? And saying no to those things is kind of empowering too. Or you're like, nah, I'm not driving to Studio City for that stupid shit anymore.
Totally.
But I remember this. I don't even know if it's on the air anymore, but it might have been ER. I don't know, forever ago, but it
right,
was
that's
one
up
of those super duper wordy, like, okay, we need a little stat, all
Oh,
these
that's-
like
that
medical
shit's
jargon,
tough.
and it was Deb Aquila, and remember Aquila Wood casting back in the day? They did a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff. But I just could not do it. I rehearsed it for a day, and I went in, and I was like, okay, we need to gurney, but
Oh,
and
that's
I was
the
just
worst.
like, and I sat there, and I was like, she's like, just go take a minute, take a couple seconds.
then you
so
go
so
out
I
there,
go
and now
back
you're in
in,
your-
and
now
now
in your
I'm
head.
even more spun,
Yeah.
right? So I went back in and did the exact same shit, and I'm just like, it's just not my
You're
day.
like, this is the best I could do. It's the worst too. How are you with like soap opera? How are you with like soap opera dialogue and stuff like that? Can you do it?
I mean, here's the first thing that you have
My
to
brain
do
doesn't
is,
move that
is,
fast.
is well, that's one thing, but don't judge the material, right? Because it's kind of corny, and just make it as real as possible. Try to make it how you would do it.
Right.
I haven't gone out in a soap forever either. I tested for a soap in 2006,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you know a dude named Brandon Beamer, but he ended up
don't.
getting the thing that I went out for. But he shot like, I was like, it's no big deal, whatever. It was like $12.50 an episode or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I found out that he shot 19 episodes in the first 2 weeks.
Holy shit. 19?
So I was like, that money would have been nice.
Yeah, but also the guy, I mean, you're literally just memorizing dialogue all day, every day.
All
and
day.
I don't know how they do it either, because like I'll get sides and they go, all right, you get like 4 days till the audition. I'm like, hey, okay, that should be fine. So now I'm going over the sides, like even at the gym. Then I'm doing my sides, like getting a sandwich. And now I'm literally going over it over and over and over again. By the time I get there, I forget it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
But it doesn't. You don't forget it until you're on deck. You're
Totally.
You're dialed. You're dialed. You don't even have the sides out, and
Right.
then you know
got
you're
it.
on deck, and you're like this.
Totally. Yeah.
What was my very first line that I was supposed to say? Holy shit! I don't
Yep.
need. What's my name again? Okay, got it. It's-
Totally. I used to have dreams about when I would like, you ever had dreams like when you used to wait tables and you would forget like a table?
Oh yeah.
That's how I was like before I had auditions. I would have dreams of forgetting my lines. And it was awful. And I would go in and just eat dick every fucking time.
I considered getting a prescription for beta blockers to
I
make,
did it.
to make me less nervous.
No, I did it, and then I was so less nervous that now I wasn't even.
You're like this.
I was like, dude, I was in the middle zone. I swear to God, Spence, I would go in, I had no energy. And I would even take beta blockers before I go on stage. I need that energy before I go on stage.
Totally. There's something about it, right? As long as you can learn how to channel it and make it about you being excited and not be about you being nervous, that's the key, because you can use that kind of
But I
energy,
mean,
right?
that's what they're supposed to be like. You just supposed to be into the material. You're supposed to know, like, I remember I did this thing called Femme Fatales on Cinemax.
Yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah.
Did you have to take your clothes off?
Yeah, I had to fuck this chick on the desk.
Of course you did.
I did. And I kept my socks on.
The most eligible bachelor from Texas, 2003. Of course you're going to take your shirt off.
Sure.
Of course you're going to take your pants off too.
Yeah, so I had this was like 5 years ago, and I was doing it, and I had all this lawyer jargon,
Oh, geez.
bro. I'm
You
dumb.
were a lawyer?
Yeah, I was a lawyer. So I got there, and the guy that was supposed to do it before me dropped out because he booked a soap.
Oh, geez.
So they're like, Brady. So I, of course, second fucking fiddle. So I go in and I do it, and I walk up to the cage where the girl is, and I go, I'm here to see I'm here to see Carolyn. They go, it's Nicole. I go, fuck. I go,
Have you seen that Liberty Mutual commercial that's
Yeah,
on right
that
now?
guy's great.
Liberty Bibbity.
Yeah.
What's my line?
they're like, we'll dub it in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I so can relate to that. He goes, can I come out of the water?
No.
That's just great. So you said that was your first terrible audition?
I mean, there's been a lot.
I know, I've had so many.
I've had some really bad soap auditions. I've had some really bad procedural
What's the best
auditions.
audition you ever had? The first best audition.
You know what? I must have been on a little bit of a roll, because it came down to me and Brandon for that soap thing that I absolutely crushed.
Were you
And it
just
was
in the zone?
I was in the zone, and we screen tested and all that stuff. And
How'd you feel with the screen test? Walk me through that.
Dude, it was amazing. So it was actually on Prospect, where they shoot shoot General Hospital, but it was full on. We read with the girl with the cameras. We had
Yeah.
to know the camera angles and everything, and
You're with the director.
yep,
Yep.
yep, and so I nailed it, and then right around that same time, I booked my first and only pilot
Yeah.
on the Fox lot. It was a show called Julie Reno Bounty Hunter.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And
That's exciting.
It was it was cool. Just amazing director, comedy director Lev Spyro directed it, and a lot of cool people involved. And it was one of those times where I had a thought, right? I had something planned out that I wanted to do, and so many times you just puss out because
Yeah.
you're like, I'm not going to do it, and then you're like, I wish I would have done it. I actually did it. I had this whole do rag thing like figured out, and it was like the whole thing was ridiculous.
Were you a break dancer?
No, I was a mechanic. I was an auto mechanic.
Nice. So you're just cleaning your hands.
So yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
full on.
That's all you,
Say, I
dude.
want to kiss you, and all this stuff.
That's
So,
great.
But everybody there, 10 people in the room dying laughing, and then all the guys that were reading for the part, 10 of them, I get to walk out, and they're just like,
Fuck.
what the hell did this asshole just do?
Yeah, he
Just,
did
like,
it.
smashed it. So,
How long were you in the room for?
I don't know, 5 minutes. It was quick. It was 2 lines. I played the lead character's ex-husband, and so the audition was super quick. There wasn't many lines, but
Yeah. That's my kind of audition.
yeah, absolutely, it was amazing. In and out, in and out, so I don't poop down my leg.
Seriously. So you did that, and then so what with the modeling stuff? You've been doing it for a long time, and what is have you had an awful modeling gig? Because I have. I've got one for you.
I've got.
in
So
the
I used to
pipeline.
model. When I first. Because I played football in college for a few years, and I weighed 210 in school. I
Kansas State, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kansas State for a couple years, and I went to a D2 school and played there. But when I was done playing, it was like, get this weight off of me. It was hard being
Yeah.
that heavy, and so I lost a bunch of weight and met with a modeling agency in Kansas City. So I was doing stuff, and I was modeling stuff for like USA jackets,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
USA aprons.
Yeah.
Like it was the most corny shit
So I did
ever.
in Chicago.
And all those were really, really bad. I still had like frosted tips hair, so they would try to make me look normal.
Yeah.
I go back and I've got this orange weird hair, but it's all slicked to the side, so I
Right.
look like I could be one of those people. It's really, really bad. But yeah, nothing that, recently comes to mind, but I would love to hear yours. I would love to hear your.
Oh, I was doing a Walgreens ad, and it was cold in there, and I had to wear these boxer shorts, and have I told you this?
No, but
Oh.
I just remembered what my bad
Yeah,
modeling story.
and I go up behind the girl. We're supposed to be behind each other. You know, in those stupid Walgreens
Yeah,
ads
of
where you're
course.
like this,
Sure.
and you're holding each other and you're smiling.
Sure.
And she went up to the photographer and he said his wiener's poking me. Yeah, his wiener's poking me. And I was like, is she trying to say I have a small dick or what the fuck? And it's cold, dude. It's Chicago. It's fucking cold. And
This
my
is still in
feet are cold.
Chicago?
Yeah, it was cold. I was like 22. It was like my 5th
It
modeling
wasn't that you
gig.
had a boner. It was just that your balls were shriveled up so
listen.
much that your wiener was sticking
Listen.
on top of it. Like,
Listen, I'm not saying I have the biggest wiener in the whole world, but it's not huge. But listen, it was fucking cold, and I'm wearing some shitty dorky boxers. And she goes up to the guy and says he's poking me, and I'm like, and he comes up to me and goes, "We're gonna have to tape it down."
no.
Yes, I go tape it down. I go, can I tape it up? I'm not gonna tape it down. If I tape it down, that hurts. I swear to God. So I had to tape it up. I taped it up. It's almost like when you get a boner and you have to put it in your you have to
in
put
your
it in your waistband.
Of course, everybody knows that move.
So so that was my fucking.
So
awful-
I that kind of jogged my memory that this happened 2 years ago, and it wasn't that it was terrible, but it was my very first job of 2 years ago. So I just got back home from Kansas, eating barbecue, eating whatever I
Yeah.
wanted. I was not in
Like the holidays.
model mode,
Yeah.
right? I was in holiday mode, and
Yeah.
so I booked this job with. Do you know my buddy Rusty Joyner?
What a great name. Is he a NASCAR driver?
He's not, but he's one of
Jesus.
the most shredded individuals you'll ever meet.
With the name
So-
Rusty Joyner, you better be.
Yeah, exactly. So we booked this job, and it's for underwear, but it's for bladder control underwear. So they're these boxer briefs that actually have the
I bet that
like
paid-
basically
I bet
a
that paid good,
pad,
didn't
a
it?
pad liner inside of it. So not only am I not nearly as shredded as him, I look like his like ugly kid brother. I'm wearing these bladder control underwear for like incontinence, and so needless to say, that's not one I posted on the gram.
No. What would you say is the biggest your biggest like first achievement in terms of modeling or acting? Was it the pilot you booked? Was it the
Gosh, let's see. Um, I would say, just a lot of first when I first started out, and that first audition that I like that got me Taft-Hartley'd into the union. I remember getting out of my car and like just jumping around because I didn't have to go to central casting, go to do all those things. It was a Heineken commercial that I booked. And then like
Wait, I think I remember seeing that.
it was like 2003. So you have a good memory if you do.
I see your what is the remember I took a picture of it and said get out of my morning commute.
The Taylor Stitch?
Yeah, something you're in like every mall.
Oh, Aveda.
What is Aveda?
That was huge. It's hair. It's a hair care
That's
product.
like I did the Invisalign ad. And everyone gets their fucking teeth done. They see my stupid face.
Yeah. That was a big one. And honestly, Aveda was just 5 years ago. But because of the visibility of that, I think that really kind of turned the tide for me as far as booking other things.
Do you still have to bring your book to show people?
Not as much.
That's kind of old school.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's old school. Just because everything's digital now, everything's online, and if you don't have to carry around an 8x10, some people I still see people walking around with those. I'm like, no,
bro. That's I remember. I think
save a tree, bro.
I remember. I think the day I quit, I was with Wilhelmina, and they were emailing me saying, "Are you gonna go to these castings or not?" And I was like, "Nah, I just don't want to go anymore." I just didn't like sitting there. I mean, it's good money when you get it, and I was booking good stuff, but I just didn't want to sit there with a book anymore. I didn't want to go to Santa Monica and sit with a bunch of guys that, that's why I envy you that you're still in the game with the modeling stuff because it's a lot just sitting there and you're like, fucking shit.
I don't know if it's enviable, but I honestly do credit a lot of my success to plain old stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes that are better looking. Well, yeah, I mean it's fulfilling and just like we all love being on set, and we all love, shooting stuff that's fun and because whether it's you, me, or a co-star on anything, everybody has a unique story of how they got there. So for me, the entertainment business has always been about being able to connect with other people who have a dream and are pursuing that relentlessly, because you can't be on a set anywhere unless you've given up something to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and your wife does it too, right?
yeah, wife does it, and then
and your kids are now getting into it.
Parker and Smith.
Do they like doing it, or how does that work? Do you feel like you're forcing them into it?
No. That's something that we talk about all the time. Is if there's any point in time where they're not into it anymore, then we're good. You know. So we even when they get castings and stuff, we'll ask them, "Do you want to do this today?" And if they say no, we don't go. We'll just say, "Hey, he's not feeling it today." So but yeah, Parker started when he was 9 months old. They were looking for 9-month-old babies for Gymboree, and when they book babies,
that's gonna be good money too, though, right?
It's great. He's got more money in the bank than I do.
Wow. Hey,
and
it'll circulate.
Listen, he's not going to be, and it's in a Coogan account that he can't touch till he's 18. So he's going to have a nice chunk of change when he's 18.
That's nice.
And here's the deal: when
you should be like, "You feeling this? You feeling this today? Check your account.
Yeah,
son. You're feeling it today." Because when Daddy was 18, you understand, I was
cutting lawns.
I didn't have this money.
Cutting grass and delivering drugs from my dad's pharmacy. But no,
that's not where I thought you were going with that.
I know. I like to say I was a drug dealer.
What was your first awful job?
I worked at a tanning salon.
What?
In college.
I can see that.
Yeah, right. Sunkissed Tanning in Aggieville in Manhattan, Kansas.
Wow.
It wasn't a terrible job, but it's like wiping out people's sweat and I got to work with a bunch of hot chicks, so that was kind of
cool. Did you ever wipe up some nasty stuff?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
yeah,
so
it's like foul. What
like
some
people jerking off in there?
I would have deferred that to somebody else. I would have left that for the night janitor.
Oh God, that's fucking disgusting. So you moved out to LA when? You moved out here 2001?
2001, September 6th of 2001. I moved out here, and I was like, hey, I saved, the age-old story of saving a few $100 and moving out with all that jazz. But I wanted to get a serving job or a
Bartending.
whatever. And
Did you
it was
bartend before you got here?
very like a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I kind of faked my way into it. But when I got here, it was September 11th happened 5 days later, and
Oh,
so it was
yeah.
at the end of the end of the summer, slow season. Plus, nobody was traveling. If you obviously remember that whole situation, and how people were just scared and it was weird.
Yeah.
But
Kind of like right now.
yeah, dude,
Kind of
right?
like the whole climate right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so I got a job at NutriPeak, which that job sucked too.
What is NutriPeak?
It's like a discount GNC. There's
Oh.
still a place right around the Gold's Gym in WeHo.
Yeah.
It's on right there on Romaine. It's called something else now, but yeah, it was a bad job, and I was only there for like 3 months. But first star sighting, Fabio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he came in and looked exactly like Fabio should look. He
Yeah.
had like
Is
some
he tall?
tight ass Wranglers. Yeah, he's probably 6'3", he's a
That's
big
good.
dude. Vest, no shirt. And people have them at the end of their driveways if they're coming out onto a busy street. Those circular mirrors that you can see this
Yeah.
way and this way. So we had those for like shoplifters, right? And so I'm kind of just checking out Fabio and I'm looking at him in the mirror.
Was
and-
his hair like flowing?
Oh yeah, flowing. It was like
Yeah.
he
God
walked
damn.
in slow mo.
This is the height of Fabio.
the height.
Yeah.
And so he's walking through, and I'm just kind of checking him out, and he drops like a protein shake can, and so he tries to reach down and get it, but his pants are so ass tight that he can't reach it, right? So he like bends down and then he tries to do it a different way and he can't get it, and then he just kind of looks around like he doesn't know anybody's looking at it, and then he just takes his. Of course, he has snakeskin cowboy boots on.
Sure.
Kicks it under the thing and then just walks out like nothing happened. I'm like, I saw that. And,
Who was your first celebrity crush?
Liv Tyler.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Liv Tyler?
Yeah.
What not
Empire Records.
I was gonna say Armageddon.
Empire Records.
Yeah.
I used to love her in that. And then after that, I was I had a thing for Cameron Diaz for a while.
Oh yeah, she's hot. But
And
she
the
seems a little
whole-
crazy now.
Charlie's Angels things. I saw her at Coachella and I had a shot to say something to her and I totally pooped down my leg.
Yeah, I mean I've done that too. I remember I saw Britney Spears at Saddle Ranch.
I tried to say something
Yeah.
to her one time too, and her
At Saddle
security
Ranch.
guard.
And I was like, bro, this is it.
Have
This
you
is it. I remember I was catering and I remember seeing Paris Hilton, and I went over to her and I was like, "Can I get you anything?" She's like, "What?" And I was like, "All right, never mind."
what was I gonna say? Oh, have you seen Britney Spears' Instagram lately?
No, she lost her marbles.
Oh my gosh!
Is it bad?
It.
I heard she's
do-
into
do-
some. I
do-
heard she's into some heavy stuff.
Do yourself a favor and spend 10, 15 minutes just going through some of her stuff. It's hilarious.
Oh.
That reminded me too. I bartended a job. There's this company called Beautiful Bartenders.
Yeah, I used to do it. Riley Schmidt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I bartended a Oscar party at Brian Lord's house, which Brian Lord is the president of CAA,
Right.
biggest, arguably the biggest talent agency in LA. So I
Right.
got there and I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. I'm going to see, and I'm talking Leo, Wahlberg,
They're all there.
Tom Cruise, Madonna. At every single person you could possibly
So
imagine.
high alert security.
So high alert, right? And so I'm sitting there and I turn around to get something, and I turn back, and Jennifer Aniston and Oprah are standing at my bar.
That's so cool.
You're like used to seeing some Hollywood troglodytes at your bar, and it's
Right.
those two, and I was just like,
You should have been like, I would have been like, last time I saw you guys was at a wax museum.
yeah.
You'd be like, fucking clown, give me a drink.
And then 10 minutes later, it was like this super tight area behind the bar, and so I reached back into this liquor closet to get a bottle of something, and turned around and smashed my forehead open and gashed my
No.
whole forehead, like blood.
No
streaming
way.
down
At
my-
this party?
Yeah. So for the rest of the night, I had a butterfly bandage across my.
How cool is that, though? That looks so cool. They're like, this kid is edgy. This fucking kid. Let's put him in the movies.
This guy will put his life on the line
Yeah.
to serve some drinks. He
You're
must
like-
have it. He
and
must
did,
have it.
Did you just make up some story? You're like, I was riding my motorcycle and I fell off, and fucking
And then that was it. I got back on, and now I'm here.
put a little gasoline on it, and I got back on the ride. But I'm here, and I'm fine. What do you guys need to drink? What can I get you? Do you remember the first time you got punched in the face,
Let's see.
or your first fight? I was like,
my first good fight. and it's unfortunate that it happened this way. It was at a basketball camp. I went to
I like it.
I went to a
I've
basketball
done that.
camp at KU, and it was right after Larry Brown left, and Roy Williams was the new guy.
Right.
And so I was back and forth with this kid.
How old were you?
Gosh,
10?
10,
Yeah.
11,
Yeah.
maybe.
You're like
super,
25?
super into super into basketball, and so we're getting a drink in between this scrimmage, and this kid and I get into it, and I just drilled him in the face. So
you
felt
started
really
it.
good about that, except for I dislocated these two knuckles.
Is that your shooting hand?
Yes.
Oh.
And so
You
for
dumbass.
the next 3 days, parents already paid like top dollar for me to go to this. I couldn't shoot, couldn't dribble, couldn't do anything. And so I like faked it for as long as I could, but it was
So you screwed yourself.
I totally screwed
And
myself.
now you guys are best friends.
We are not.
Let's see. So that's your first fight. First, do you remember the first time you got your ass kicked? I've got my ass kicked.
Yes.
Couple
So
times.
the first time I got my ass kicked was in between my senior in high school, freshman year. We'd gone up for our signing day. I signed with
KU.
a fraternity at K State.
Oh yeah.
It was a SAE signing day. Me and my buddies go out afterwards, and I saw some other kids that I played sports with or against my whole high school career. And we always had this thing, like back and forth. And those guys actually lived in Manhattan, where K State is. And so we're at Burger King after the bars, right?
Nice.
As you do.
Sure.
And I'm sure I probably had a couple chicken sandwiches in front of me, whatever.
Sure.
And they kept on coming by and purposely spilling shit on our table. And I said, look, next person that spills something on my fucking table, you guys are getting your ass whooped. And of course, it happened. I got up, and there were 10 of them. It was just 2 of us, 10 of them, and we got smoked. We got rolled by 10 dudes.
When
and
you're wasted though, you're like, doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it was like the whole thing. It was like you've seen those YouTube. No, wasn't
Oh yeah.
good thing there wasn't anything.
It's so bad where you watch, you're like, oh god, dude,
It
so bad.
It like we got carried out into the like drive-through lane, and it was bad.
And did you guys? Did you wake up the next morning and just like look at your face? You're
Oh
like,
yeah.
Fuck
Well,
me.
so there wasn't anything on my face that was bad, but my whole ear was black, and so I didn't.
They
obviously
just must have been kicking you.
Yeah, they're kicking us, and so I didn't want to tell my folks, but it was the next week or a couple days later.
Do you remember who these guys were? What they looked like?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, you
One
saw
of
him
them's
again?
name is Mark Strajewski.
Fuck that
and now
guy.
he's friends with all my buddies in Kansas City.
Of course he is. I'll fucking beat the shit out of Mark Straszewski. If you're listening, Mark, fuck you, dude. Fucking dick, I'll fight you. You might be able to beat me out. but
So my mom saw my gray ear. She's like, "What is that dirt on your ear?" She grabs my ear. She's like,
You're like,
"Ah," and I was
"Oh."
like, "Ah." She's like, "You got beat up, didn't you?" I was
I
like,
was like, fuck.
"I got beat up."
God, beat it good, but we had chicken sandwiches, which all that matters. I remember I got beat up so bad. I was in Chicago, and we were at this DePaul bar, and the kids from DePaul, I don't know if you know, they're all rich, white, fucking privileged,
Right.
asshole kids, and we're standing there at the bar, and I started making out with this girl, and she comes with us to another bar, and this car pulls up to us, and we're in the car, and this car pulls up next to us, and he goes, "Hey man," he goes, "you know how to get to Green Door?" And I go, "What?" And then he fucking spits right in my face, and he goes, "That's my fucking girlfriend, you piece of shit."
You're like, "Does she know that?"
No, and I go, "Well, she's coming to Green Door with us." So we go to Green Door, and we go to Green Door, and I go, "Which one? Where is he?" I fucking try to find this kid. I see him. I grab my drink, and I'm thinking I'm in a movie, right?
Yeah.
We're in the movies, sure. I take my drink, and I go, "Hey, man, did you order a rum and coke?" And he goes, "What?" And I go, and I pour it in his face, and then I smash it over his head. I cut my hand so fucking bad. Spence, I could have gone like this and just a puddle of fucking blood.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I think I'm done fighting. Dude. It was bad. I remember I got another fight. I got kicked in the chest so hard, I couldn't breathe the next day. Fucking idiots.
So I've got a story like your bar fight story. One of my buddies got knocked out at the back of this bar called Babes in my hometown.
Nice.
And so I must have just watched Roadhouse because
Totally.
I go
That's
back.
what I thought.
I go
Yeah.
back there and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna bash this dude over the face with a bottle, and it's gonna be like mayhem, people going crazy.
No.
And so I go, boosh, right over this guy's face, smashes his forehead open, gashes his forehead, and I've got the bottle like this, so it slices. You can still see the scar right
Yeah.
there. See it?
Oh wow.
So slices my hand open, and everybody just stopped. Everybody goes,
Totally.
and looked at me. They're like,
Get him
my
out.
buddy shoves me out of the back door. She's like, dude, you got to go. So would have been fine, except for I've got a gash that I got to go take care of, right?
Yeah.
So I have to go to the emergency room. So I'm sitting in the emergency room. Cops walk in with the dude, and they're just like, oh, that's convenient. He's right there.
Oh my God.
Got
bro.
arrested, spent the night in jail.
You spent the night in jail?
Oh, yeah.
That's not the worst. They leave the lights on. Did you have to, was there anyone else in the cell with you?
So there wasn't until about 2, and then this kid named Shannon Drake, who was a year younger than me in school, just got arrested for
Nice.
outrunning a cop, MIP, open container,
Wow.
evading an officer,
Wow.
all that stuff. And I was, I called my dad. 'Cause that was my phone call, right? And I said, "Hey, Dad, I'm in the clink," and he goes, "Well," my dad's, he's like public servant,
Sure.
pillar of the community.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well."
Take a nap.
He's like, I could call Larry Putnam, who's my lawyer,
Like
right?
Putnam.
And I could. When it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd wake him up, and then
Sure.
he'd have to call Marilyn Wheeler, who's the judge. Get you
guy.
out on bail. Also wake him up at 3. So why don't you just
Sleep it off.
sleep it off, and I'll see you at 8 a.m. And I was like, fair enough,
All right.
fair enough, pops.
Can you put Mom on the phone?
I did not want to talk to Mom at that point in time. I was,
What made you want to be in the? What was like the first movie you saw where you're like, I think I want to do that? Do you remember?
Coming to America.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like more comedy? Or you like more drama?
I
like
I
both?
love comedy. Like growing up, Vacation and
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all those
It's
like
the best.
Caddyshack
Yeah.
are still like the movies that will stand up forever. That
Do you
are
remember the
so,
movie Clifford?
So quotable, of course.
No one remembers that. I bring it up all the time. Clifford, it was the little flute.
Clifford the big red dog.
Yeah, but no, Clifford the with Martin Short, and he plays the flute, and he's like
Oh
his little
no, I don't
stepson.
remember that.
Yeah,
I don't.
see, I was like Clifford the Red.
Was that yours?
what?
Was that yours?
What? Mine? What?
Your movie that wanted you to made you want to be
No,
an
the
actor?
movie that wanted me to be an actor was Vacation.
Okay.
Yeah, Chevy Chase's faces where he's like, she's like, you haven't even looked at the Grand Canyon yet, and he's like, all right, let's go.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, yeah. That
And
was
Edna.
good. Yeah. So that's the first movie you were like.
I think so.
What was it about? Eddie Murphy or?
Yeah, I mean everything about it, and I remember distinctly. I was probably 12 years old, and I thought it was so cool that my dad let me go and watch that because there's some the royal penis is clean, Your Highness, and
Yeah.
so many f-bombs and everything. I was
Hilarious.
just like, it was a bonding moment with my
Yeah,
dad. I was like,
yeah.
this is the best.
It's the best.
So yeah, that and then I didn't really catch any sort of bug. Just I didn't act. I wasn't in theater, and I didn't do any of that stuff until later. So I can't say that I was one of these people that like wanted to do that
Did
forever.
you did theater?
Never did.
Oh, you never did it.
Never did.
Trust me, you're not missing out.
Yeah. I did. I've done theater one time, and it was so scary to me.
Yeah.
And I hats off to you, dude. I don't know how you do stand up. It's like I fancy myself a pretty fearless dude, but holy cow, that scares the shit out of me.
I don't know. You just got to go up and just. I mean, I've been doing it for so long now that I don't even think about
How
it.
has it been a decade?
It's been almost 12 years.
Wow.
But I've had my ups and downs. I've had my big accomplishments with the Comedy Store and SNL and stuff like that. But you just got to keep the ball rolling. You know.
And do stuff like this to keep yourself creative in the meantime.
That's what good segue because I was going to say you kind of went off the beaten path and started your own clothing line.
Yeah.
This is his hat. I don't know if you say it, but what is
6 years in.
What does the 6 mean?
Well, it's we had our 6-year anniversary in July, and my dad always used to say, 6 and 1, half dozen of another. You know what that means? It's like either way, right? There's no wrong way, and it's basically there's always two ways to look at any situation, right? No wrong way, no right way. So that's kind of a Harold Hill is my granddad's name, so that's
a
me
great name,
kind
by
of
the way.
paying homage to my dad with the 6 thing, and
Yeah.
then. I've done one every year for every number, so six is the number this year. So yeah, I and just
but what got you into the clothing stuff? Like, where did that start? 'Cause-
basically the same thing that got me into acting: borderline delusional self-confidence that you can do anything.
but also, yeah, I agree. Like, I started painting, and I didn't think I could ever paint.
Yeah.
I just did it because I needed another outlet.
Sure.
So you got into doing clothing, which is impossible
Yeah.
because it's such a huge market.
For sure.
Do you still enjoy doing it, or
I do. It's, I kind of saw the writing on the wall, and just with everything in life, it's all about failing forward, and not that any of my ventures have been huge failures, but I learn everything. I learned a ton of things with falling on your face and getting back up and doing it again. So for me, I've always loved clothes. I remember from a young age,
yeah,
really being
style?
particular
Because
about.
you have always had a really good style.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And so I was like I was taught myself how to sew and was doing all these things with sport coats, and people were always like, why don't you just do your own thing? And little do I know, it takes $250,000 and a huge team around you to
Yeah.
make any sort of splash in
Yeah.
that industry, especially
You need a
now with,
sweatshop, dude.
yeah, dude, I'd made everything in LA, and when you're trying to do that, it's like,
So you make all this stuff on your own,
yeah.
right?
Well, I
Or
don't.
you go to a place and you tell them what you want, and
Right.
they do it all for you.
I've got a hat manufacturer called Caps Plus in down in Compton that has done my hats since day one. And
That's
then,
fucking rad.
Yeah, and then another guy, my cut and sew. I do all my own fits for those pants, the relaxers, and then the t-shirts and stuff. So when you're doing that and not just buying blanks and putting your logo on it,
Yeah.
it's cost.
See, the pants that you brought me, I should have showed them, are so cool because you have such a specific, or not specific, but you have such a loose clothing design because you have the pink pocket, you have the cool boat straps, and then the green pants, which, if you think about it, doesn't make sense, but it totally makes sense. You know what I mean? Which I think is such a cool style.
Yeah.
Where did you get that from? Did you get that from like your mom? Did you get that from like?
Yeah, I don't know. Both my parents are sharp people for sure. As
Yeah.
far as dressing goes, they pay attention to that. But I don't really know if there was one specific thing I can point to. I just remember always wanting to look fresh.
Yeah.
Always wanting the J's,
good.
and always wanting to have
Yep.
my jams and my socks rolled to a certain height.
Right.
And like when I was old enough to start getting into magazines, I remember like always paying attention to what people were wearing and where they were, and like I remember seeing all these 323 and 310 numbers, 213, whatever, and I was like, what, LA? Okay. And
Yeah.
it's kind of cool to be here in the epicenter, what arguably is the epicenter of fashion.
Totally.
And just trying to give yourself a little bit of an education. I still go down to downtown LA and just to see the bigness and the scope
Skid Row.
of the Skid Row, the
See all the homeless
garment
people
garment
shooting
district.
themselves,
Yeah,
shooting themselves up.
it's definitely an interesting way to kind of teach yourself a trade. You
Yeah.
know, like whatever it is. So
Do you see yourself living in LA for the long run, or do you see?
I see LA being home base.
Yeah,
for sure.
because Hermosa's fucking beautiful.
Dude,
I don't know how you guys do it down there because it's got to be fucking so expensive. But
It's not
you make-
cheap.
you make it work.
It's
somehow,
not,
some way.
yeah, it's not cheap, but it's nothing in LA is cheap anymore.
No.
It's a land of milk and honey. So but Hermosa's small town USA, bro. It's
Dude, it's a-
19,000 people.
But I see, like, you guys, every time I see it, I'm so envious because I'm like, it just looks so nice. Like, I saw the fire truck coming by, and he was like, hey, Officer fucking Murphy. And he's like, hey, Spence. Hey, kids. And I'm like, you fucking guys. Meanwhile, I got a guy taking a shit in my parking spot. Okay. I got another neighbor that's fucking knocking on my door, asking me if I can help him move his refrigerator.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I'm doing this all wrong, guy.
Listen, I can't, every time I see people like jogging when I'm up for auditions in LA, I'm like, man, I'm so glad this isn't my jogging
It's the
route.
worst. Like, I live by the Comedy Store, and I tell you, dude, I want to blow my brains out every day.
And that's like the mecca of sensory overload
It
too.
really is.
Like, oh, like you said, it bum shitting over here, billboard that's changing every 5 seconds
Oh, yeah.
here, sky bar,
Yeah.
this, that,
Yeah.
traffic.
But like when you're like in your late 20s, early 30s, you're like, this is the fucking best.
Yeah.
Now I'm pushing 40, and I'm like, I want to fucking kill myself.
yeah, you're like 10 years ago, you're like, this is the best. I'm 5 minutes away from my house.
Yeah, totally.
My house, the bar, by the way, not my house, my house.
Totally. And you used to work at Sharky's, right?
No, so I worked at
Or not
I
Sharky's.
worked at the first place I worked was called Fro Bar in Santa Monica. It was like it was basically, we used to call it Coyote Ugly for dudes. It was
Yeah.
all like these hot model guys like swinging from the rafters, like squirting the back bar with
Are you talking
water.
about? Are you talking about the Saddle over in West Hollywood?
No, kind of like that though. But it was called Fro Bar. It was on Main Street in Santa Monica, and then me and my buddies opened I wasn't one of the owners, but we opened a new bar called Busby's.
Yeah,
And then it
yeah.
was the Parlor.
Yep.
And then my house, my studio, Eden, and then I took it back to the beach. My buddies opened up a place called American Junkie on the pier
That's
in
right.
Hermosa Beach.
Yeah. Is that place still open?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I met my wife there.
No shit.
Yeah.
So now you have 2 kids.
Yep.
And they're both in the acting game, kinda.
Oh yeah, so we talked about that a little bit. So when they're on set, they just get treated like kings.
Yeah.
You know, there's a guy called a wrangler who's off camera making them laugh their asses off. So it's not like they're working.
Is there really someone that
Yeah,
keeps
they're
them
making
entertained?
fart noises and making balloon animals. So like that's why all these kids are so damn happy.
See, that's what I saw too. Also, I mean to cut you off, but you took them to the skate park. It's a skate place where there's an instructor.
Yeah.
You know who my instructor was? A guy that fucking overdoses on heroin. And his name was fucking Loey. And like,
Hey man, let me show you how to do
that
an
was,
ollie.
yeah, that was the guy. He's like, just drop in, bro. And I'm like, I don't have any pads on. Doesn't matter.
Well, think about it. I mean, and this is everybody asks me if I surf, and I'm like, I'm the world's worst surfer on the
Same
planet.
here.
They're like, why? Like, I'm grew up from Kansas, dude. I'm so landlocked. I was
Yeah.
like,
I'll watch. I'm good at watching.
yeah, I'm great at watching. But
Yeah.
now, like, surfing's a industry, so is skateboarding, so is anything. So you got people that want to learn how to surf, got people learn how to skate.
Yeah.
Capitalize on it.
I don't know, man. I like skateboarding. I always wanted to be like that kid that was like, because like I went to school in San Jose for like a year and a half, and I tried to skateboard with these kids, and these kids were seasoned from like day 5.
Oh yeah.
And I'm coming in at like 13, 14, and I'm just like, now I'm just holding my board watching these guys, just trying to hang out and be cool. And I felt like such a tool. I just didn't fit in anywhere. And I was okay at basketball, but I wasn't good as the fucking other guys.
Right.
Just like, where do we fit in here? How does this work? So I was like, you know what? I'll just go do theater.
So you did do theater for a long time.
Yeah, I did theater.
From a young age.
I did theater in high school, and then I was the radio DJ. Because what I really wanted to do was
You were the Brian Silver
Yeah,
of your school?
basically, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to do sports talk radio.
Nice.
That was my goal.
Yeah.
And then I started doing stand up comedy, and I was like, this is more fun.
Were you doing a little bit of sports stuff before you found stand up?
Yeah,
I thought so.
yeah, I was doing that, but then I stand up started just taking over, and then I got past the Comedy Store, and then I was going down to La Jolla, and then I started traveling, and now it's full time stand up comedy.
So yeah, that's okay. That's full time then.
Yeah, which is good.
So you're on the road. How many days out of the year? You think?
I don't even know, but I'd say I'm probably once or twice a month.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I mean it's good money, but I'd like to do bigger clubs. But of course, you have to be on a TV show. So they're like, "How are we going to promote tickets for you?" And you're like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
I don't
That's
know.
kind of like acting, right? They want to associate a dollar sign with your name, right? So
Totally.
how do you what comes first, the chicken or the egg, sort of thing?
Totally. All right, to wrap this up. See, I told you it goes by fast.
Yeah, it went by really fast. That was fun.
Yeah. I like to do rapid questions because I think they like to hear people's answers.
Okay.
Let's do some rapid questions. Okay, you ready? Here we go. What's a celebrity you wish you were besides yourself?
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I see more McConaughey.
Me?
Yeah,
Really?
you get more of a laid back McConaughey
I'll take
vibe.
McConaughey too, but Pitt's pretty laid back.
Yeah. What did you think of that Ricky Gervais thing? Paul? Did you watch that? The Ricky Gervais?
What? Just the Golden Globes? You mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was great too. I
you
love it.
think it was good?
Listen. Award season is about a bunch of rich people getting around and
being
tugging on each other, and
Yeah.
it's like if you can't,
Laugh at
take a
yourself.
piss about some stuff, then you're in the wrong room, you're in the wrong industry, you're in the wrong everything. So
Totally.
I love when they get people like him and Kevin Hart that like just give people a raft of shit as
Yeah.
they should, because you got so many people kissing their ass
Right.
every other day of the
Yeah,
year, so you might as well-
it's kind of nice to see them just get a little dirt kicked in the face every once in a while.
for sure.
So
I think most people take it pretty good.
yeah. What's a celebrities you look up to?
Again, Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio. I've started following The Rock a bunch.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
He's
dude.
Wahlberg's like up at 4 a.m.
So
rise
am
and
I.
grind.
So am
oh
I.
no, I see that.
So that's part of the reason him and The Rock are both. You talk to any of those guys or see him. Not that I talk to him, but see him on social or whatever they do. They're up at the butt crack of dawn and getting it in. So they're getting everything out of the way before they. You could get 3-4 hours of productive time before everybody else is even out of the sack.
Yeah.
It's legit.
What time you got to take the kids to school and stuff?
Parker
7?
goes to school at 7:45. Smith goes to school at 9. So I've got but they're super early risers. That was sort of the reason
You have to be up at fucking 4.
yeah. So I want to get the gym, reading, writing, praying, manifesting, everything day planned out, and so that way when they get up, I'm in daddy mode.
Yeah.
The rest of the day is house money.
Yeah, that's fucking great. So, so when you take the kids to school and stuff like that, when do you get time to relax and do you? Because you don't really drink much anymore or anything like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like to have a cocktail every now and then. But so now we're kind of empty nesters. We have 2 days that we have like 6 or 7 hours of no kid zone, and then the other days are half days. Hermosa Beach public school is from 8 to 11:30, so you're not getting shit done.
What?
Yeah, it's like as soon as you go back home, you pick them up.
Pick them right back up. How do we? I want that job.
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
It's crazy. But yeah, I make sure that I take my me time, and my wife and I have never had help with the kids. We just fully juggle, and so if one of us is on edge or needs a breather, we say, hey, take a breather, go down to the beach, take a drive, go have a cocktail, go have a coffee, go read, whatever. And so we're very blessed in that sense that we play off of each other, and we're very good parents and co-parents. We know what each other needs. So.
And you're a big avid reader. What's something that you could recommend to people that with like a motivational book? Because I know I hit you up about books, and I actually got a couple of those books.
For sure.
What's something that you're reading right now?
Start with Why. Simon Sinek is a great one.
It's just called Why?
Start with Why.
Start with Why.
Yeah, and an old one that my dad asked me to read forever, and unfortunately I didn't until last year, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah, I've tried to read that for the past 10 years.
Dude, it's one of those things, right?
You're like, with the chicken before the egg, shit like that. Yeah.
I think I actually listened to that one. There's one a guy I follow, all these guys that whether it be Grant Cardone or Gary Vee or Darren Hardy.
What about Jocko?
I love Jocko.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that's up at 4 a.m. too.
Yeah.
And so I'm on a steady diet of all those guys, whether it be podcast or YouTube or whatever. That's what I listen to while I'm at the gym to kind of
get it going,
fuel my day.
You ever get to the gym and you're like, I'm fucking just want to lay on this thing?
Oh yeah, for sure. And what Jocko says is when you feel that way, when you feel like you're just going through the motions, go through the motions anyway, because you'll thank yourself. It's like it's that whole thing, oh, I really regret that workout. Said no one ever.
Well, no shit. Well, today before I did the podcast, I said I'm going to go for a run before I come see Spence, and I took my pre-workout burning pills, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was running halfway through and I fucking just projectile vomited everywhere, and I was like,
I thought you were gonna say shit your pants.
Almost. I've done that.
I've done that.
Have
too.
you shit your pants on a run?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you didn't make it home fast enough. You ever peed your pants?
I haven't peed my pants, but I've definitely pooped my pants.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Or
hot stuff. Hire me to represent your clothing brand. But yes, another guy that I love, I mentioned him, John Maxwell, failing forward. It's like all about, listen, if you're a growth mindset and you firmly believe that your best days are ahead of you, you have to know that to be in the 98th percentile, to be in the people that are really making moves in the upper echelon of any field, they not only are, get an A+ in attitude, get an A+ in the dream, they get an A+ in fucking work ethic and busting their ass.
Yeah.
So if you're doing those other two things and you don't back it up with a work ethic,
nothing's gonna happen.
Nothing's gonna happen. It's like the moments. You gotta play off momentum. So any time that you can set goals, what is measured is accomplished. Set goals and then knock those down and celebrate those little victories is all about anything that has to do with that.
I like that, dude.
Yeah.
I would like to end on that, but I'm not gonna. It's really good.
I knew that would have been too easy.
Paul, we still have time, right? Okay. Who's an old celebrity you'd have sex with that no one would think you'd have sex with? Yeah, take your time.
Annette Bening.
Oh yeah. Warren Beatty's
She's kind
wife,
of a
right?
fox to me. Yeah.
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 Now or when they played Bugsy?
I would prefer Bugsy.
Yeah. Well, she's like Spence.
Helen Mirren, I don't know. She's kind of a fox too.
Yeah, she's all right. All right. Okay, I can see that. To impress a girl, what was your go-to move, or what's your go-to move?
So the day before, because mutual friends introduced my wife and I, and so before I Facebook requested her, I uploaded every modeling picture I'd ever taken. So it was like
Fucking God.
right there on the
Fucking
timeline, right?
God
So it was
damn.
like friend request, boop, and then it's like all these like professional modeling pictures and
Come
shit.
on,
And
guy.
obviously there was no, I wasn't like I was fooling anybody. It
No, it's
says when it
smart.
was uploaded.
Smart.
So she
Yeah.
and she still to this day busts my balls about it. She's like, yeah, I see you,
That's
buddy.
funny. I used to call my girlfriend before we were dating or anything, and I would just call her up and go, "Did you call me?" She would go, "No," and I'd be like, "All right, so what's going on?"
That sounds like you were probably one of the guys too that went like this.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Let's get you out of these wet clothes.
That's good. That sounds like something my brother would say. That's hilarious. All right. Let's see. What's a thing you did to get your babies to stop crying? That's good. Let's get you out of these wet clothes.
Man,
That's funny.
like,
Did you ever do like funny noises?
yeah. I mean, there's always the. I used to dance around with them a lot, so I'd like do like a dancing
Yeah.
thing, and they would they tend to like that. Nothing like crazy comes to mind. My kids were both very good babies,
Yeah.
so there wasn't a lot of like.
They're very good looking babies.
Yeah, thank you, dude.
Yeah, man.
They look like their mom, thankfully.
Okay. Have you ever tried to impress a chick and it went bad?
I would say that the time I tried to impress Cameron Diaz at Coachella went bad.
Yeah, that's good.
I said, "Hey, I just have to take this chance to tell you, I think you're spectacular."
Spectacular? You said spectacular? What are you, 90? Just want to let you know that I think you make me moist. What?
I think
fuck?
you're the bee's knees.
Yeah.
I think I'd had a
I just
few-
want to take this
I-
opportunity to say, you get the fuck out of my face. You fucking
She actually
creep.
thought she must have thought it was cute because she gave me a big hug, and I was like, it was a highlight.
And then you said, let's get you out of these wet clothes. That's so good. All right. All right. Is cereal soup? Why or why not?
Is cereal soup?
Why or why not?
Absolutely not. Soup should be
Hot.
Soup should be hot. Soup should be savory and not sweet.
I like that. And what's your go-to soup? This is my podcast. This is my
Chicken
podcast.
noodle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow,
more
what's
of a
yours?
Clam chowder.
Oh, yeah, East Coast.
Yeah.
I also like a good lobster bisque.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, lobster bisque. Is
What's
good.
what's your restaurant that like your little nook in Hermosa Beach that people don't know about? Because I know Spence Hill's got.
Yeah, there's a place it's a breakfast spot called Martha's on 22nd and Hermosa Street, Hermosa Ave.
Yeah,
Just right. It's like literally a baseball throw from the beach. It's
that's your guy's spot.
yeah, that's my spot.
Oh.
Blue corn cheese, Havarti cheese scramble with some.
Fucking starving.
Yes. I think I'm gonna try to go plant based.
What?
Yeah, I
Why?
don't know. I've watched this thing.
look good. What are you doing
I know.
plant-based
Well,
for?
I
Well,
put
you
on
know,
I put on 10 pounds of muscle over the last 2 months. Like
How much you weigh right now? 180?
165.
What?
Yeah.
165?
Yeah.
Are you not eating anymore?
No, I eat all the time. I've got a very healthy eating habits, but I've been eating a ton of meat, like bacon and eggs, all this stuff. And
Is it you doing the keto?
No, just like trying to get a ton of protein, trying to put on some mass, and I've been so sluggish in the afternoon. So I watched this thing. Everybody's seen or heard of Forks Over Knife. There's this new documentary on Netflix called Game Changers. And it's
Oh
about this-
yeah.
you heard about it?
I haven't seen it yet though.
But it's all this like stuff about your blood and how it circulates and the fat and all this stuff and how much cleaner you are when you're plant based. So I've tried everything. I've tried it all, and I'm just trying to see what my body responds to because getting old sucks.
Oh yeah, and also though, what it does, from what I understand, the plant-based stuff is very good for your skin. It's
Yeah.
good for. It's like fucking yoga. It's really good for you.
For sure. And I'm like I said, I'm 2 days in. I went my very first.
Is that part of the plant-based thing?
No,
Is the
it's just a tea. It's just a tea.
Yeah.
I'm
Is
trying
that
to
the
drink.
green tea?
I'm trying to drink less. It's some mint thing. I don't know. Refresh mint. Anyway, Tazo, if you're watching,
Sure.
plug some Tazo.
Yeah. Sponsor the guy.
But yeah, this was my very first.
Oh,
Sorry
timer's
about
up.
that. Very first grocery store run that I purposely didn't buy any meat or any like animal products.
That's tough. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. So
All right.
we'll see.
Well, good luck with that. And when we have you back, we'll let you know. And you're like, you come back and you're like, I'm fucking starving, bro. You guys have any snacks? What's the weirdest smell you ever smelled? Go.
It probably would have been the bum that shit outside of my carport when I lived in Venice, a half block from, because I definitely smelled it.
Are you talking
and
about the bum that shit by my place?
No. Well, it might have been the same guy, although that's pretty far east.
True.
I don't know. He didn't seem like he had a mode of transportation
I'll
to
tell
get
you
up
what,
this far. Although it was 15 years ago. So
Yeah. Well, now he's back. And he's by my place. What's a funny Wi-Fi name? See?
I don't know, but you know what's funny? We have a friend that was at Starbucks when free Wi-Fi became a thing, and she said, "Hey, she thought like the Wi-Fi was like some sort of croissant. She's like, "Hey, I'd like to get one of the free Wi-Fi's."
Oh, she thought that
She didn't
free
know
Wi-Fi?
it.
She thought it was
She thought
on
it was
the board?
like, yeah.
That's funny. Can I get one of those Wi-Fi's?
I wish I could, because I've heard every time when you go down a neighborhood and you see all these funny names, I've seen a million, but none of them comes to mind. You got one?
No. Oh, what was the one I had? It was like big tits 1332. Oh, stupid. Okay, what is something everyone looks stupid doing?
Rollerblading.
Yeah, but
I've never been on a pair of rollerblades in my life, and I never will.
Missing out, Paul
ever.
rollerblades.
No.
Yeah. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever worn? Von Dutch. You used to be a Von Dutch guy.
Dude, big time.
Yeah.
It was either in that same space. It's Von Dutch, Christian Audiger, R.I.P. Ed Hardy stuff. You know,
do R.I.P.
Well, yeah, Christian's dead. Christian died a few years ago. Yeah. But my roommate used to be the head of sales for Christian Audiger, so all those bedazzled shirts they were selling for like $200 that he used to bring home in the package, and so me and my roommate would like get home on a Friday afternoon and be like, "Oh, dude,
Yeah.
look at the tiger coming over the shoulder and
no.
all the crystals." And
fuck.
I had like 20
bedazzled?
of those. It was bad.
Oh man.
It was bad.
What's the weirdest thing a guest has ever done at your house? Take a huge dump.
Well, that happens a lot too. But
Sure.
I think probably one time there was a feminine product left in the and it just looked like.
Isn't that the worst? Isn't that worse when you take a dump at someone's house and you flush once and it doesn't all go down? So now you got to stand there. You ever have that, Paul? You ever have that? You got to stand there after you fucking take a dump, and then it goes
there's
down.
no room
but
freshener?
the toilet's really slow. And
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
it's gonna be one of
Oh,
these,
yeah.
and then
Oh,
you see
yeah.
it going like this,
and then you have to flush again, and it still
it's
doesn't
still
go
there,
down.
and they're like, how much time you got? You're like, I don't know.
And then you're just praying that nobody's waiting right there for you, so you can
Yeah.
hopefully pawn it off on somebody
Dude,
else. I don't know. Nothing comes to mind as far as something that somebody's done
that's
weird.
okay. Not all of these
I
have
guess
to.
That's a great thing.
Have to be hitters. What sport would be funniest if you added a mandatory amount of alcohol to?
God, pickleball. Pickleball's sort of hot right now. I think that if you got slammed and just got a bunch of old people
What's
around,
pickleball?
it's like
Oh, you guys
it's
like
like
that. It's like bowling?
It's like paddle tennis.
Oh,
Kind of.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Or just makes a big
Anything
punch
that you
and
have to
feel
have
like
some
that.
eye-hand coordination and got a bunch of people out there
Just whiffing.
at balls.
I'd watch it. Okay, last one. What celebrity would you let kiss your mom?
What celebrity would I let kiss my mom?
Brad Pitt.
Robert Redford.
Sure, good call.
I'm sure that she probably had a thing for him, just like a lot of people have a thing for Brad Pitt these days. I think
I still have a thing for Brad Pitt. Guys, that's been Spencer Hill. Spence, you want to plug anything? Your Twitter, your Instagram, where people can see you through magazines, acting?
Gosh, yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff. We mentioned it earlier with a company called Taylor Stitch out of San Francisco.
Nope.
Great dudes who have got a great company mission as well. And then so I do a lot of work for for them. A lot of work for Helm Boots out of Austin.
Awesome.
And then my buddies in LA got a company called Sweat Tailor, SWET, that I work for a bunch as well. All great dudes with great products. For
Your clothing line.
Oh yeah, my clothing line too. Harold Hill, HeraldHill.com. Just hats and T-shirts mostly, but all cool stuff.
Yep. And your Instagram and Twitter?
At Spence Hill.
At Spence Hill.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this, dude.
Yeah,
I
dude, that was a lot
appreciate
of fun, man. Thanks for having me.
Please subscribe, share, and listen. Check us out at comedypopup.la.com or at comedypopup.net. Right? What am I talking about? At comedy, Twitter and Instagram at Comedy Pop Up. I haven't done this in fucking 3 weeks. Check out our videos on YouTube at CPU Podcast Network. I'm terrible at this part. Anyways, that's been Spence Hill. I've been Brady Matthews. That's been Paul Antonio. Please subscribe, share, and listen. Tell your friends. That's been my first. And remember, drink and drive safely. I love you.
Yes. Awesome. Goodbye.